on News Talk 105.9 WMAL.
O'Connor and Company.
Rolling along here on this Thursday morning at 6:07. Thank you for tuning in and letting us be a part of your morning routine. Coming up, boy, it's going to be a good one. Coming up in 30 minutes, we're going to check in with a candidate for school board in Fairfax County, Debra Tisler. At 7:05, Keith Elliott, who is running for Fairfax County Board of Supervisors. We are right in the thick of election season here as that election day is looming in Virginia. 7:35, Representative Andy Harris of Maryland about his new speaker. 8:05, the superintendent of schools in Spotsylvania County, Mark Taylor. And then at 8:35, Grover Norquist, Americans for Tax Reform. Want to get his assessment of the new Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson. With us, as you can tell from the Tito Puente vibe, is Mercedes Schlapp. Good morning, Mercedes.
I'm like dancing in my chair. I just love it. Do you put those specially for me? Like,
yes.
Do you put that music on?
Yes.
Oh,
we don't do any of this foreign music when you're not around.
Oh, you're horrible.
All right, let's get you some updates on the Biden bribery scandals. Now, as you know, Joe Biden collected a chunk of change through his son and through his brother by selling access to his office when he was vice president. That's not even alleged anymore. That's just a fact. The question is, does it rise to the level of impeachment? Well, of course, the answer is obviously yes. JustTheNews.com, the organ created by John Solomon, the great John Solomon, has a brand new breaking exclusive on this. I've been saying this from the beginning. You've got your crime, which is selling access, accepting bribes, all right? But then you've got your cover-up, and then you've got your obstruction of justice. And in this case, those are all the hallmarks of a classic D.C. scandal. And in this case, the obstruction of justice, it appears, was not ordered by the president saying, all right, I'm demanding that my Justice Department look the other way and cover up this crime. No. It was organically developed within the Justice Department because the FBI, it seems, many of the people making decisions there are irredeemably corrupt. According to former U.S. Attorney Scott Brady and his testimony to the House Judiciary Committee, the FBI kept even the mere existence of the Hunter Biden laptop story from the investigation, from the U.S. Attorney. So in other words, the FBI had the Hunter Biden laptop. They knew it was real. They knew the evidence was on it, and they withheld it from the U.S. Attorney who was charged with the investigation, Scott Brady. Brady said he was struck throughout his work by the FBI's reluctance to engage in the Hunter Biden investigation and the unprecedented layers of approval that FBI headquarters imposed on the agents working for him. He says that the bribery claim was credible enough for further investigation, but the FBI stopped it from every point going forward. This is, of course, the same FBI, by the way, which will charge in with guns blazing at 6 a.m. if you're suspected of praying in front of an abortion clinic.
Or go infiltrate the Latin Mass because the Catholics go to Mass because God only knows they could be potential terrorists.
That's right.
Look, I think this is why you've seen the fact that there is such little trust in the FBI. There's such little trust in our Department of Justice because of the constant targeting of conservatives and the ignoring what we're seeing with the Biden corruption. I think one of the things they mentioned that Scott Brady revealed in this revealed to the House Judiciary Committee is that they found credible evidence when they started reviewing the Hunter Biden's dealings with Ukrainian energy company Burisma Holdings, and also the possible corruption by Joe Biden to refer these criminal matters to 3 separate U.S. attorneys' offices in Brooklyn, Manhattan, and Delaware for further investigation. But what are we going to know about Brooklyn, Manhattan, and Delaware? These are Democrat prosecutors.
That's right.
These are not going to, they're going to slow walk this in the same way the Department of Justice slow walked anything that had to deal with the Hunter Biden potential investigation. And obviously, I don't know about you, Larry, but do you have like $2.6 million in cash to buy your beach house? I mean, come on.
I know. That was in cash. Only 5 months after he left office in cash.
Yes.
Although it was 2 weeks after Hunter Biden sent that text to a Chinese billionaire saying, I am sitting right next to my father, and we want to know why you have not fulfilled your commitment. Oh, and the next thing you know, he's got $2.5 million cash to buy a beach house. It must be nice.
Crazy.
This, by the way, this testimony from this U.S. attorney talking about and detailing the FBI's basically literally obstruction of the investigation into the Biden family. This happened behind closed doors. We know this only because of the transcript that's now available. This person will testify in front of cameras and in front of the House Judiciary Committee. I know that a lot of people are like, it's okay to take a few weeks off to get a speaker. You're right. We got a good speaker now. But this is the kind of proceedings that couldn't occur until we had a Speaker of the House. Now it can. And Jim Jordan is ready to go. And we'll have that testimony soon. We've also got more. The FBI, apparently, this is according to Fox News, the FBI received criminal information from over 40 confidential sources on the Joe, James, and Hunter Biden scandals. That's an enormous number. The mountain of evidence that the FBI was sitting on, from the laptop to now 40 different confidential humans, that's informants, that all provided criminal information regarding the Bidens.
Wow.
And they've done nothing.
Nothing.
Well, actually, that's not true. They haven't done nothing. They've done something. They've obstructed justice. And they've covered it up. And Christopher Wray needs to be dragged. And here's what Christopher Wray will do, the FBI director. He'll be confronted with this. He'll be asked about it. And he'll smirk. And he'll say, well, I will not comment on an ongoing investigation. We can't comment on an ongoing investigation. There's no ongoing investigation.
Yeah.
It's an ongoing obstruction of justice. That's what it is.
This is so troubling from all different levels. And I think the mere fact that the Biden family has been able to get away with this, this is stemming back to the election when when you saw big tech companies basically, you saw these big tech companies basically try to suppress this information on the Hunter Biden laptop around the election. They did suppress it. Yeah. And the mere fact is that now it's all, the cover up needs to end. And we have to expose what is really happening here and how the FBI protected the Biden family throughout this process.
Well, Senator Chuck Grassley, as the ranking member of the Judiciary Committee in the Senate, he's trying to do that. The only thing he's able to do right now, sadly, is write strongly worded letters. And he's done a lot of it. But this latest revelation about 40 different criminal informants on the Bidens comes in the form of a very good letter that includes this passage. Our republic cannot survive such a political infection, and you have an obligation to this country to clear the air. That's his letter to the Attorney General and to the FBI director.
But let's remember, the FBI can continue to obstruct.
Of course.
They can continue to slow walk the process. They are not going to hand over information. And then before you know it, we're right into presidential year. Yeah. And you've got,
and they'll say, well, we don't
Trump
want it. We've got to stop the investigation because we don't want it to affect the election.
Yeah. So
when covering it up affects the election.
Yeah.
Literally.
I mean, and we're talking about we're almost 4 years into this process.
That's right. Oh, over
Crazy.
4 years. Yeah. It is 6:15 now, WMA.
WMAL.
Making sense of the news.
Live
from the Home Paramount Pest Control Studios.
Home Paramount, the leader in pest control since 1939.
Later this morning on the Chris Plant Show, forget about your kids coming home from college as transgender lefties. Now they might come home as jihadis. 9 a.m. on WMAL.
Chaya Raichik, the incredibly courageous woman that began the Libs of TikTok account, was outed by Taylor Lorenz, that insidiously maniacal journalist, reporter in good standing over at the Washington Post. And after she was outed, Taylor Lorenz thought she was going to go away and hide. And, well, frankly, she made her stronger. And Chaya Raichik is now mad as hell, and she's not taking it anymore with the ADL, the Anti-Defamation League. The Anti-Defamation League put Chaya Raichik on this list of extremists. They have a website, and they actually list her and her name as part of their what they call glossary of extremism. And she is now demanding that she be removed from there. By the way, the reason that she's on there as quote unquote glossary of extremism, this is what Chaya Reichik does through her Libs of TikTok account. She finds insane things that people are voluntarily posting on their TikTok accounts, these little selfie videos, saying, I'm a third grade teacher and I engage my students in conversations about their private parts and their gender and stuff.
And then I'm a prostitute at night. I mean, that's kind of what they do.
Pretty much.
It's like crazy.
And my pronouns are they, them. So she takes that video.
Right.
And she just shows people what these people are saying.
Right.
And that makes her an extremist, according to the ADL. Well, she is demanding that her name be removed, or she's going to sue the ADL. And I think she's giving them, they've got until October 31st to remove what she is calling a defamatory entry. I can't wait to see how this plays out.
So the spokesperson for ADL said, we are aware of her demands and are investigating, but we do not comment on matters regarding actual or threatened litigation. Look, I think for the ADL, they've got such big battles to fight. For example, I don't know, just stay focused on taking down Hamas and really protecting our Jewish students who are being harassed on college campuses.
That's what the ADL is supposed to do.
Yeah, exactly. Or, and be just more focused on that and really trying to talk about the importance of stopping anti-Semitism in America, because we've seen this influx of pro-terrorist Hamas propaganda on our college campuses and across the country. And so they have bigger battles to fight, and the mere fact that they go after Shia is horrific.
Well, it's because they've been infected by this intersectionality earworm that anyone on the left has to reflexively stand up for transgender ideology, and if anyone opposes it or questions it or challenges it, or as Chaya Reichik does, just exposes it and shows what they're saying, these transgender radicals, they need to defame them as engaging in hate speech. And here's the real irony.
Glossary of extremism.
Yeah, glossary of
it's
extremism.
So outrageous.
Here's the thing.
So outrageous.
So last night I had the pleasure of presenting an award to Chaya Reichik. She is in town for the Independent Women's Forum Gala that we had last night.
Yeah.
She is an Orthodox Jew, a very observant Orthodox Jewish woman. For the ADL to go after her as an extremist is so offensive to her personally that she will not let this go. And I want to remind you, the ADL
and good
has
for
this,
her for standing up.
She's remarkable. And the ADL has a long history. It's almost 100 years old. It actually, people think that it started after the Holocaust. It predates the Holocaust. It saw the anti-Semitism in Western Europe growing, and that's why they created the ADL to go after people who were defaming the Jewish people with brazen anti-Semitism. And then about 6 years ago, they got a new leader, Jonathan Greenblatt, who worked in the Obama White House, and he has politicized that organization beyond recognition, and it's despicable.
Yeah, it's beyond their mission statement.
Yeah.
And I think the mere fact they're going after an Orthodox Jewish woman, calling her extremist, is just, I think it's just outrageous. And I think, again, there's this bigger battle to fight right now with what we're seeing happening in Israel.
Yes,
and that's where they need to stay focused.
Yes, literally an existential fight. Well, go get them, Chaya Reichik. We believe in you. It's 6:21. Oh, it's a really special day today. It's a big birthday. Can we hear from our birthday girl? Is she waking up, birthday girl? Are you happy today?
It's not my birthday.
Oh, no, I'm sorry, Mercedes. I wasn't talking about you. I was talking about...
I mean, it's just ludicrous on the face of it.
That's right. It's Hillary Clinton's birthday. Happy birthday to this future never going to be president. Oh, I wonder what she's doing today.
You were just mentioning, who would have ever thought of that stupid tweet that they put out? Remember?
Yes, it was 2 weeks before the election, or 1 week before the election.
What an embarrassment.
And they put this picture of her in 8th grade, and she tweeted out on her account, "Happy birthday to this future president." And, well, it didn't really work out well for her, did it?
What difference at this point does it make?
Oh, it makes a big difference to us, honey. It does. Honestly, I know that it's great that Trump was president and he put 3 Supreme Court justices in and we have no more Roe v. Wade, but I still think his greatest accomplishment was destroying this woman's hopes and dreams.
Yes.
It just makes me
But
feel
she never
good.
goes away. She's like that nightmare. It's like the Halloween nightmare. She just never goes away. She keeps popping her head everywhere, making these crazy allegations on
Yeah.
everything. I don't know. She doesn't go away.
She doesn't go away. I see her in my nightmares still, barking like a dog.
I'm so sorry.
You know?
If you created a character that was everything Hillary Clinton is, no one would believe it. It's like, I'm sorry, no one is like that. No human
No, of
being
course she's
behaves
like born
this way.
close to Halloween. I mean, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised.
You know?
What do you
I
think
am
she's
not
going to do for her birthday today?
I was going to ask you the same question. Well, definitely not hang out with Bill Clinton. That's for sure.
You don't think that she's going to be with her beloved husband of all these many
Gosh,
years?
I don't think they ever hang out together. No. She might be taking a walk in the forest. Isn't that what she does a lot? She just takes walks.
She did say that she took lots of long walks in the woods after she
Yeah.
lost the presidency.
Yeah.
And
Well,
then
happy birthday, Hillary.
Yes.
Have a good one.
Happy birthday, Hillary. We hope this day brings much joy to your life. So much joy that you just can't stop laughing. It's so infectious. It's, like a virus. 6:30.
It's like a fire.
WMAL-FM Woodbridge, Washington, a Cumulus media station.
Making sense of the news.
News Talk 105.9.
News now.
On News Talk 105.9 WMAL.
O'Connor and Company.
It is 6:36. It's O'Connor and Company here on this beautiful Thursday morning in your nation's capital. Thanks for joining us. It's Larry O'Connor alongside Mercedes Schlapp. Coming up at 7:05, Keith Elliott, Republican challenger for Fairfax County Board of Supervisors in the Sully District. At 7:35, Representative Andy Harris of Maryland about his new speaker. And at 8:05, the superintendent of schools in Spotsylvania County, Mark Taylor, talk about the school board elections coming up there. And at 8:35, Grover Norquist, Americans for Tax Reform. And Mercedes, we're joined now by Debra Tisler. She is running for Fairfax County School Board. And Ms. Tisler, thank you for joining us. Thanks for running for school board. It takes a lot, I know, and we need good people to run. So thank you for doing that.
Yeah, thank you for having me on this morning. I appreciate it.
Listen, with all of the discussions about what's going on in our schools and the curriculum and the policies with bathrooms and letting parents know about the kind of books that are in the libraries and all that stuff, what's getting lost in a lot of the mix here is the fact that the current regime, the current school board, has failed on the fundamentals, on literacy, on math scores. I mean, what was once one of the greatest school systems in America is now barely getting by. So what is your focus going to be to sort of right the ship in Fairfax County?
Well, the first thing we need to do is bring the focus back to the school-based level, to the instruction right within that classroom. Fairfax County Public Schools, they put too much money into the central office administration, and this has been said for, quite some time now. And it just keeps growing, whereas our, staffing within the schools keeps, decreasing. And that's where the kids are going to get their services from. And the teachers are really asking for those tools that they need to teach the kids how to read, which is direct, explicit instruction, phonics, sounds to letters. That's how we learn how to read.
Yeah.
And that's not happening in Fairfax County.
Well, and in Fairfax County, so many of the students are playing makeup because of all of the learning loss due to the terrible decisions made by that body during the pandemic. Do you have a plan to address learning loss in particular so that we can get kids back up to the level they should be at?
Oh, yes, absolutely. And it's a shame that this school board is not, being effective in getting it done. We need to expand public-private partnerships to relieve some of the staffing shortages that we have. I mean, a lot of the teachers left because they felt abandoned by their administrators and by central office and by the school board itself. And, what has happened there is we have a lot of people in central office that are certified to teach. And we need to move them out of the central office and start putting them back at the school-based level. We need to be innovative on staffing contracts as well. as far as having job share opportunities, part-time positions. Governor Youngkin has opened up many pathways to become licensed as a teacher to get you into the classroom. And that's the only way we're going to expand our career and technical education offerings in Fairfax County Public Schools as well. We're right outside Washington, D.C. We have a plethora of professionals to fill these positions so children can start earning their career technical education certifications at an earlier time, which would allow them to work through college if that's what they want to do, or start their own business. But we're not pulling from, that pool of talent that we have right here. So again, this school board is not being innovative. Central office isn't being innovative. They lack the ability to communicate with each other, which I intend to open up and ensure that it's organized and that we're working together to get what is fundamentally needed for our students and our community. And focus on what do the kids and the students and the community really need instead of political agendas, which seems to be their main focus.
It sounds like there's this Democrat-controlled school board. How many members are on the school board, and what is it going to take to really be able to have a change and address these issues like parental rights, address these issues like taking down this gender ideology and refocusing the energy on making sure that the children are meeting the standards they need to meet on reading and writing and math?
Yeah, we need everyone to come out and vote, first of all. The polls are open right now. Early voting began. Of course, we still have, the opportunity to vote on, traditionally on Election Day, November 7th. That's going to be the biggest piece there, everyone just showing up and voting. Because right now we have 12 Democrat members on, Democrat-endorsed members that are solely focused on political agenda and not what is needed in education specifically for students to achieve and have their own American dream. We have 9 district seats. I'm running for the one, which is the Springfield district, which is the most winnable district. And then we have 3 at-large seats. So everyone in Fairfax County, you can vote for 3 at-large, and then you vote for 1 representative on the school board for your district. And we need everyone to show up and vote. That's what it's going to take, because right now the groupthink mentality of this school board is not doing it for our kids. It's not helping them succeed.
Debra Tisler is our guest. She's running for Fairfax County School Board. I saw this Washington Post article that the headline suggests that the voters really just care about education and not really focusing on trans policies and trans issues. But then when you drill down into the article and go past the headline, you look at the poll results. Now, here's the question. The question is, do you think Virginia public schools are doing too much to accommodate trans students, or not enough, or just right? The overwhelming majority in the poll is 40%. 40% say they're doing too much in regards to these trans policies. 21% say not enough. 25% just right. 15% say they don't know or refuse to answer. So the actual majority of voters say they've gone too far. And that's in Northern Virginia, which leans pretty left. So, I mean, I got to say this, it seems to me, despite the Washington Post trying to run interference on this issue, that it's a winning topic to just go to voters door to door and say, I think parents should have a say in this before the school teachers and the administrators.
And that's what I'm hearing, back when I'm meeting with voters. I'm everywhere, Larry. And, I'm in the playgrounds, the parks, the grocery stores, talking to people and knocking on doors. Just everywhere I go, I engage in a conversation. And, no matter what background the person is from or political, they agree with me that the parent has the fundamental right to the upbringing, care, and education of their child. And unfortunately, this school board and the superintendent herself has said that the majority does not dictate. And that's a shame. They need to listen to their constituents. They need to listen to the people and understand that they are there to serve the people. And it's also common sense that the parent has the right to the upbringing and care of their child.
Yeah, I agree. Debra Tisler, again, thank you for running. Thank you for doing the hard work. Thank you for knocking on doors. Either way, no matter how this election goes, you're making a difference by getting people to think on these issues and focus and really make an educated choice. And we appreciate you doing that, and we're glad that we were part of it. Thank you, ma'am.
Yes. thank you for having me on, and hopefully I'll see the voters out today. I'll be at the West Springfield Government Center from 1 to 2:30, so come out and meet me, and also cast your vote. Vote for common sense and vote for parental rights.
Fantastic. Thank you. Debra Tisler. It is 6:44. Jon Stewart, the sanctimonious, former barely funny comedian, but now very serious journalist trying to address important, serious issues until you actually confront him and challenge him. And then he says, hey, man, I'm just a comedian. It's a really great clown nose on, clown nose off kind of shtick he's got going. But Jon Stewart, you remember, left The Daily Show, sort of agitated around in politics for a while, and now he started a brand new thing. About to start its third season called The Problem with Jon Stewart. It broadcasts on Apple TV+.
I think he has multiple problems.
Well,
I don't know.
I just want to tell everyone the news
ahead.
first. It's about to start its third season, and abruptly he told staff yesterday that it's been canceled. He could not reach an agreement with executives at Apple to do the third season, and they were already planned to go. They had their scripts, they had everything ready, and they pulled the plug. And apparently, it's for political purposes, Mercedes.
Why? What are the
Well,
political
it's funny
purposes?
because you look
Enlighten me.
You look at the content that he's done. Like for the last couple of years, he's really focused on the gender ideology thing. He's very pro mutilating children with drugs or surgery irreversibly.
Why do we mutilate him? Let's start there.
That would be.
I think that's
I
a
don't
good
think he
option.
would enjoy the
Let's
the
try
procedures.
it. Maybe with no anesthesia, just like mutilate him.
And
Because
what
if
he
he's
does-
going to mutilate children. I mean, he should experiment with it and see how it feels.
He gets these Republican legislators at the state level or attorneys general, and he challenges them. And of course, they edit it to make the person look like a buffoon. And why Republicans continue to sit with him because they know what he does. He's been doing it for years, but they do it anyway. Anyway, so did Apple step in and say, you know what, we don't like being associated with this pro-child mutilation thing, so we're gonna no. That wasn't the issue. What was the issue? He planned on doing a couple of stories this season on China, on human rights abuse in China, slave labor in China, and he was also going to expose the insidious use of artificial intelligence to replace human beings in the workforce. And I'm sorry, did I mention that this is broadcast on Apple TV? And Apple was paying the bills, and apparently that's a bridge too far. Apple said, oh, no, we don't want to tick off China, and we don't want to expose the dangers of artificial intelligence. So that's why Apple pulled the plug.
Jon Stewart should maybe Apple should, hire Governor Gavin Newsom, who just had this really rosy, really sweet meeting with President Xi from China. Yeah. I mean, give me a break. I look, first of all, I don't know who watches Jon Stewart. Quite frankly, I've turned off late night television.
Yeah.
Because it's become such a political disaster. And
it's the same handful of
people. It's not comedy anymore.
It's the same handful of people in New York and D.C. who watch Morning Joe. I mean, literally it's the same audience. But
yeah, and so, quite frankly, I think Jon Stewart. Look, I'm glad he wanted to tackle these questions about China and bring this to light. The reality is that so much of America's big corporations are beholden to China. And they're scared. I see so much fear coming out of these corporations. They don't want to upset China. They want to keep those relationships strong and going. And it's just, I think it's so troubling.
You're right. It would be great for them to hire Gavin Newsom to do the propaganda.
Yeah, no kidding. He should be the
Everything's
lobbyist.
fine in China. There's nothing to do here.
They're like, let's fix the climate change problem in China.
Right.
It's like, you people are on drugs. Oh, wait, no. China is exporting the fentanyl over
they're on
to Mexico
Chinese
that
drugs.
then comes through the border.
We have been talking about the slave labor conditions in China for how many years now? The Uyghur scandal has been out there. Ethnic cleansing has been at least 6 or 7 years. But I think it's been almost over a decade. It's been exposed that our iPhones are all being made by slave labor conditions. And get this stat. Even to this day, after knowing everything we know about the horrendous, unethical, war criminal behavior of the Chinese Communist government, and I didn't even mention the COVID-19 pandemic that they unleashed on the world and then covered up, even after all of that, Apple's phones and computers and tablets and devices, 95% of them are still manufactured in China. They have done nothing to try to divest themselves.
Nothing. Well, you saw CEO Tim Cook. He made a surprise visit to China last week so that he can, continue to do these sales for Apple's products and government support for the company's manufacturing operation the country. So, I mean, look, there's no question that they want cheap labor, that that Apple is gonna continue to run their operations through China, and we just do nothing.
Yeah,
we just do nothing about it.
And Jon Stewart doing a little comedy docu episode on China was a bridge too far for Apple TV, and so he had to be done with. Well, we're back.